Welcome back to the NutriMed firing line, and the firing line is because I'm on the firing line with your questions that are emailed or called into Nutrimedical. That is 888-888-212-8871, and we're dynamically ready here to help you extricate you from the toxic docs, the dino docs, as Dr. Rogers says. The toxic docs that I say, that 1 in 10 medications is probably safe, but there are medical procedures that are useful and helpful, but we need to extricate you to get you on the pathway to a healthy lifestyle, NutriMeds, and technologies that are get you well, so you don't end up in the quagmire of the healthcare system right now. Which really isn't a healthcare system. It's a disease management system, almost like managing mushrooms.
Did you say 1 in 10? Are you sure it's not 1 in 10,000?
Maybe 1 in 10,000.
Yeah, 1 in 10. I never heard you say 1 in 10.
I'm just using a ballpark number.
I thought at one time it was like maybe 95% were no good. Maybe
exactly,
5%
maybe 5%, maybe 1 in 20. How's that? Is that good?
That's
under very limited circumstances, emergency department, things like that.
Okay, are you done?
Yes, indeed. And you have announcements. We got a giant sale coming up.
You're not done.
I just wanted to
Are you done?
Well, I'm doing the promo beforehand, so go ahead.
You are so good, and didn't I say I couldn't do it like you?
But you got announcements. Go ahead, Michelle.
But I have to get a couple words in here, though.
It's now your show. You see, this really is your hour. I'm just kind of helping you out by doing the intro.
Okay, I won't say anything. I'm just going to go
all the
forward.
Questions.
I say nothing. I'm just going forward.
Like Kermit Link.
Today is June the 27th, and it is Friday. And the next time that we're on, it will be actually July the 3rd, because hey, it's the holiday. July
the next Thursday. So 6 days from now, we're back on again, live.
Back on live.
Yeah.
And it'll be probably rebroadcast. And of course, it's always rebroadcast at KCBQ here in our homeland of San Diego County.
That's right.
So, Bill, I could start
just
off
like Ron Burgundy's homeland, you know? Remember Ron Burgundy?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, God, right, Bill. Probably
Ron Burgundy.
You know, I think a lot of guys might get that, but women probably they could care less.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Macho Ron, yeah.
We do have our sale coming up, which we might want to talk about for a little bit here, Bill, because it's going to be another exciting 7 for Heaven sale that Bill invented a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And I guess you kind of got it in prayer.
Most definitely, and it's a sale on top of a sale. So if you see sale packs, a 3-pack, 6-packs, or whatever, and you have a sale price, we add another 7% on top and free shipping. So you get a sale on top of a sale.
And everything is free shipping. You don't have to get to the 150 mark or have the specials. Everything is. So
even one bottle.
If you've been a listener for a while, please, this is your chance here over July the 4th, 5th, 6th, and I guess 7th is Monday, midnight Monday. Of course, we'll be open on Monday for all the callers that need to take advantage.
Right, and we really appreciate all of your...
on the phones.
We really appreciate all your...
4 people on the phones. I'm not done yet.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
We really appreciate all the people that do order and call in, and we want you to understand that we're here for you with free consultations, but we do really have the very best nutraceuticals on the planet. Far superior to longevity or any of the other competitors you hear on this network or elsewhere. Don't waste your time. If you want to have the best, plus also I provide what I call medical information, which tells you what tests to do with your doctors, what surgeries are safe, what things are stupid.
And all of this.
And I provide all this information free.
I was just about to say that. If he provides, Dr. Bill, all of that information free for our customers only. And also for our customers only are the wellness conditions, the access to the wellness conditions. And as soon as you order, if you don't receive the username and password for the wellness conditions, let us know and we'll get it off to you right away by email or by phone.
Right.
But and then again, if you're just a listener and you've never ordered, please feel free to email Dr. D and ask him your question, and I'll either read it on the Friday show, or Bill is now answering everyone's questions again, because it was too hard to not do that.
Right.
And then I realized too, some people only have a certain budget to ask specifically for what they need, and it's just made it.
Right.
I came around. It takes me a while, but I came around.
Yeah, and I've been feeling super energized lately with my new exercise diet program.
And our vegetarian. Bill's got all this, and you're doing great because you're actually losing weight, and I'm very proud of you for that. And I know you have a goal, but I know you're going to hit your goal now, because it's funny, just making that change in our diet as vegetarian, but I can't go total vegetarian. We are pescatarian. Is that the correct term?
Right. So
Because we actually eat fish.
But it
so
also-
I'm cooking Atlantic salmon. And I'm an Atlantic halibut. Amazingly, here in California, you can get all kinds of fish from the Atlantic. And of course, I'm from the East Coast, so
But-
I only, regardless of anything with Fukushima, I only like Atlantic cold fish.
well, that you were, of course, your father was a fisherman on the East
That's
Coast.
right, and I know my fish. And aren't we having fun eating fish all the time too? And,
But you know, I really like the name pescatarian because you see
Why?
it fits my personality and my radio personality as well.
Oh,
Because I'm pesky.
I thought you were pesty.
Pesty too. I'm a pest.
Okay.
I'm a pest to those who want to hide the truth. I'm a pest to the oligarchs of toxic medicine,
know
toxic
what?
government, etc.
You're my pest.
Yes,
and
indeed.
guess what? I have an apology to tell all the listeners. Remember when I was going to go get that mammogram? I canceled it because Bill off the air told me all the radiation that's in a regular
80
mammogram.
to 100 millisieverts of radiation.
And he can't talk to me on the air. I can't usually talk to me anyways because I'm not sometimes I don't listen to you. But anyways, I'm going to get the, what is it, the thermal blah,
Thermogram.
blah, blah, blah.
Right, here's
Because
my procedure.
I don't like a mammogram anyways. It's painful and it's just
Let me
degrading.
give you a little history. What you should do is go for yearly thermograms.
Yeah.
If the thermogram, along with a physical exam, which your doctor can do, where you can yourself or a nurse practitioner, identifies any lump that's tethering the skin or causing peau d'orange, which is a little dimpling of the skin that looks like the outside of an orange,
Oh, yeah.
then there's physical changes or skin changes, either bleeding or non-bleeding or loss of hair or gaining hair. Those are signs you need to have a more advanced investigation. The next test that you should do is actually an MRI scan of the breast, with no radiation at all. And they can put a graphite tag exactly where they see abnormalities present on the MRI live, and they can repeat the MRI scan. There's no radiation involved. It's far more accurate.
Oh, that's lovely, Bill.
Yeah.
Good
not
to
only
know.
that,
I'm
there's
actually
no
listening.
there's no
See?
squishing of the breasts. But you may have to
Oh
argue
my
with your
gosh,
insurance
it's
carrier.
terrible.
Now the interesting
All
thing
you
is,
women out there listening know that they are just archaic.
when I worked,
I mean, they'd never do that to a guy, right? Make him
Yeah.
put his on there
Yeah.
and squish it down.
in the mid-'90s, I worked with the hospital that was owned by the nuns. The St. Francis Hospital had a contract for CCOM, U.S. Space Command Strategic Defense Star Wars. And interestingly, the nuns, because they didn't like to be squished, they bought a machine that didn't squish the breasts, and they had a mammogram in the St. Francis Hospital in Colorado Springs that didn't do that. You just leaned forward and your breast fell forward, and they did their mammogram that way. But it's more expensive, and insurance carriers keep the old squishy machines around, which I think,
Whoops.
if it had to be males and they had to have their testicles squished, I have a feeling they probably wouldn't go for
I
it.
was saying their other member there. That's the same thing.
They're-
Gosh, I wouldn't even think that testicles. I'd be like, wow.
No, I want to use the term so that people
Wow.
have a bit of a squeamish kind of they call it the cremaster reflex, where they get a little, Dr. Deagle said testicles.
Bill, I talked to Thelma, Bill. She's from two places, and I did want to ask everyone for prayer for Thelma. She's got two houses going, one in Ohio, one in Tennessee, for a couple of years, trying to sell both, and financially it's a huge hardship on her.
Right.
So if anyone's listening and God puts on your heart to pray for her, please do, because she has, I don't know if you remember the beautiful dog Princess that I showed you a long time ago. And Princess is getting much better on the cancer protocol, right? The malignant arrest, malignant block.
And by the way, it turned out to be a non-malignant tumor. It was an epilis, which I told her in the first place was caused by an infection.
It's more complicated.
An epilis, and it's caused by an infection. And if you treat the infection with her
Then why
antipathogenics,
don't you have to take the malignant block?
because it still acts the same way.
Oh.
And when you take the malignant block and the other things, it actually regresses it. So benign tumors like meningiomas in the brain act the same way because there's a stealth pathogen. There's lots of research now going back to the 1930s in Germany that all cancer is a gene switch disorder caused by intracellular pathogens like spirochetes and mycobacteria.
Bill, Thelma and I were also talking. We were talking about blood types, and mine is O, as you know, I'm
Right.
positive or whatever. And she was saying, it's no wonder I have to eat fish because people with O blood crave proteins. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, I heard this. Eat for your blood type. I don't buy it.
Oh, I just crave protein.
I know.
I think
You'd have
protein's
to.
great
You'd
for
have
me.
to. I think everybody needs protein.
I think fish is great.
Oh yeah.
Let's see how we last on this no chicken, no meat thing.
No Fukushima fish diet. How's that?
Say something positive, like only Atlantic.
Only Atlantic. And we're back with the lovely Michelle, and hopefully able to answer your questions, Bill.
That intro music's a little intense, isn't it?
It is intense. It's almost like the start of the Star Wars or some kind of sci-fi.
I didn't get all these the call-in ones answered for and I wanted to get this in real quick, please. Brad
Sure.
from Massachusetts. He wanted to know, you had sent in an email, a protocol for him for marijuana addiction.
Right.
And he wanted to know what EMDR was.
EMDR is basically a therapy where it's called eye movement desensitization therapy. It's like a biofeedback where you move your eyes and you visualize with a PhD psychologist trained to actually do level 1, level 2 or so EMDR, and it helps to stop the autonomic reflexes of the nervous system in response to a stimulus, whether it's a behavior you're addicted to or a PTSD. So we use it in post-traumatic stress disorder with veterans. We use it in people that had a post-traumatic, like an auto accident, or if they've had an addiction disorder like marijuana or crystal meth hemp or ecstasy or something like that.
And also one more praise report. It's from Jeanette from Oregon. And she's been using the Collagen Max for a couple of months and sent me a picture on my email. And her nails are beautiful. The before and after is amazing. I need to put that on Michelle at michelledeagle.com.
Oh, wow, I'll tell you.
Yep.
If you beautify the inside, if your fingernails are strong like talons, your skin is smooth as glass and like a movie star, your hair is luscious, then inside your bones aren't wrinkled either.
Bill, what's that look like to you? Hello, Charles.
That looks like a little...
From Australia, mate.
That looks like a little wallaby.
That is a wallaby. I asked a stupid question. I said, is that a kangaroo or a wallaby? And Charles told me, I guess that kangaroos are much larger. And they live on the open ranges. That was right outside his house.
Yeah, those are like a little relative, marsupial relatives. Yeah, they're really cute.
That's so sweet. And hey, Charles, how about the magpies? That's an Australian magpie. Isn't that big?
Oh, yeah.
And I guess there's an Australian football league that uses that as their mascot.
Yeah.
And you know what I found out doing a little research got me interested with the magpie in Australia was that, they have soccer, right? They call football.
Right.
But they also have a football, but it looks like the shape, like of the material of a soccer ball, but it looks like a football. And it's played outdoors rather like a soccer game, with no padding or anything else, and they can tackle and everything, and they don't have anything.
And the whole league is owned by the Union of Orthopedics and Plastic Surgeons, right?
Really?
So they have blocks of broken bones, and at the end they have the stretchers bring them directly to the operating theater, right?
Thanks for those pictures, Charles.
There you go.
Always a pleasure.
Aussies are a little extreme. I remember talking to some Special Forces guy because I took care of some Delta fellows in Colorado mid-90s. And the Aussie guys said, we're more extreme. I said, well, what do you mean? He says, they practice upright when they come down the wire from the helicopter with a night vision pack on, 90 pounds. Yeah. They said, we do it upside down.
Oh, God. Very funny, very funny. Hey, Charles,
that's what he
thanks
said.
Again.
He was serious, too. He was trying to be serious. Yeah.
This is from, look at these sweet pictures. This is from Pam. Pam up there in north of Chicago. How about this little thing? This is for you today. Now, you're all wound up about pharmaceuticals and everything. Why are there never any good side effects? I mean, it is crazy when you listen on television or anything. The side effects on these things. Who would ever want to take it? I have never taken a pharmaceutical drug in my life, have I? In fact, I have never taken an aspirin.
But that means you've never been farmed.
Ha. But I'm blessed. Thank you for that. But I'm also... I wouldn't want to be in a position where I'd have to take a pharmaceutical drug. But anyways, since this goes on to say, why are there never any good side effects? Since once, I'd like to read a medication bottle that says, may cause extreme... Sexiness.
Oh, gosh.
And how about this? Oh, this is for you. I just ran 5 miles, and what a workout. I didn't think the ice cream truck would ever stop. That's you. I don't have an ice cream.
No, I don't have any ice cream addiction. No.
You sure do.
That's a past history.
You're conquering it. But
no, I don't have an ice cream addiction.
Look at me. Tell me you don't like ice cream.
That has been exorcised.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Over the past, what, 2 weeks?
Did you hear what I said? Exorcised?
Oh, I see. Exercise. Okay, and one more here. This is the favorite. This is for me and Pam here, or for Pam and I. The other day, someone told me that I could make ice cubes from leftover wine. I was confused. What is leftover wine? Ha. You get it?
Yeah.
What? You don't get it?
I do.
What is it then? What's leftover wine, Bill? She doesn't get it, Pam.
I do, and I don't want to say it. I want you to say it.
Oh, my goodness. You don't even... Bill, there's never any left over.
I know that.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the seriousness here. Yeah. Okay.
Leftover wine. I know around you there's no leftover wine.
Oh, there we go. There we go, Pam.
That's right. That's right. You know why they call it wine? Because when you drink it, you won't.
You won't whine. Maybe that's why you keep giving me wine. Okay.
So it's good for your heart too. They call it the French paradox. The surgeons and the pharmaceutical doctors in France are scratching their head. These people who should have died, coming for cardiac bypass and head strokes, they're all just sitting around at parties drinking wine.
I know, it's amazing that they're much healthier.
French paradox, yeah.
Let's start with Randy in Texas with the emails, Bill. Dr. and Mrs. Deagle, love the radio show. I'm a customer and would like to purchase additional products for my allergies and asthma. I haven't received the password to log on to the wellness conditions. If you're listening and you are a customer, please drop us, as I said earlier, an email
or phone
call 888-212-8871, and we'll give you the password.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make it real simple. Silver 100 inhalation. Usually take boats of 3 sprays and hold it for a count of 10. Mm-hmm. Do 1 spray per 10 pounds body weight 3 times a day. Add to that Allergon and Allerblock 1 capsule 3 times a day. Power C 2 to 3 capsules twice a day, and the asthma will just go away. You may add also Alamax or Allison Med, 1 capsule 2 to 3 times a day. And that'll knock out we know that rhinovirus subclass 3 grows in the airways of asthmatics. So there's a chronic viremia in the airways. There may also be mycobacteria and other opportunistic organisms. So they're not just pathogen-free. And when you knock out the viruses, especially rhinovirus subclass 3, their angioedema and the airway spasm goes away.
Our son, as I was going to say, Matthew, he takes the Allergon and the Allerblock, and he lives up in Oregon, and there's all kinds of...
Allergy just gone.
Yeah, lots of it. But he ran out of his Allergon. He said, oh my gosh, 2-day air it up to me, because he just, you have to keep on it, because it will
it'll come back.
Yeah.
In other words, we don't cure any illness, we put it in remission. It's called Nutrimedical remission, which means you better keep taking the fancy stuff we're sending you if you want to stay super healthy. And by the way, we never have side effects. The only side effects is smiling. That's the side effects of NutriMeds.
That's true. Isn't that great?
Smiling. That's a good side effect, yeah.
Next is Mike from Cupertino, California.
It's a nice place.
That's where Apple's headquarters is.
Oh, yeah.
That's why when you get your iPad, it says Cupertino. The time and everything is set
up in the valley. Silicon Valley.
Hello, Dr. Deagle. First of all, I want to say thank you for sharing your extensive knowledge of so many subjects with the world. You have opened my eyes even wider to so many things. I have a medical question for you. I believe I have scalp psoriasis and was wondering if you could recommend any of your Nutrimedicals to combat it.
Yes, the first thing in scalp psoriasis is you want to knock out the fungal infections and other pathogens. So you want to spray your scalp Silver 100. Then I recommend Silver 100. Secondly, put on the curcumin cream and take orally Allison Med 3 times a day.
Global warming purports rising CO2 levels, while evolution describes mutated DNA. The fraudulent sciences describe effects of iron poisoning and copper depletion. As generations are iron poisoned and copper deprived, the DNA has mutated and weakened. As blood...
And we're back with the beautiful and informed firing line host with the most, Michelle. Go ahead.
Next, we have Valerie in an email. Good morning, Dr. Deagle. I've been taking the Youngevity Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I heard that there are heavy metals in this product. What is the product you suggest to get all the minerals I need? And also, what should I take to detox the heavy metals?
First off, the heavy metal source is the kinds of chelated minerals, or heavy metals that are coming out of the ground. They're all plant-derived, but they're 50 million year olds, like dinosaur plants. And they contain things like tellurium and heavy metals that are toxic. You want to stop those, and you want to start taking our nutraceuticals, which are all tracks amino acid chelates. That includes our Ageless Energize, our Life Support, our Vitamin Mineral Max, Minerals Plus. I recommend the drinks to start with, which would probably be...
She wants to detox, I would say.
Detox, Keeler Max to pull out the heavy metals, and our Ultra Liquid Zeolite. Keeler Max, 2 to 4 capsules twice a day, and the Ultra Zeolite, 13 drops in water, filtered water, 3 times a day.
And that's just a start. After that, you back off.
And you also have to take the minerals to replace it, because it's going to pull good ones out too. So you want to take Vitamin Mineral Max, Minerals Plus, Ageless Energize, and Life Support, and these other ones like glycemics. They contain all of the activated vitamins and all of which is
what
only.
What about the NutriComplete?
NutriComplete has got all the best reds and greens. It has lots of trace minerals as well, and it has a goji berry.
The problem with that has been back ordered now for a couple of months. It's supposed to be coming
in a couple of days, actually. I already talked to them.
Yeah.
They had a major problem with one of the components because it's so unique, but we apparently it'll be available probably before the 4th of July sale. So
yeah, that's what happens when you're really fussy about what goes in your product. That's why we have these lags here. Bill, next is Deborah from Arizona. Hello, Dr. Bill. My daughter has very severe constipation. It is something she has had for years. In the past, she's taken herbal combinations for constipation that she just gets at the local market.
Right.
She's also tried magnesium products and a high-fiber diet with lots of water, but she still has to do enemas several times a week.
Right. So her bowel has become more lazy, and her myenteric plexus drives it.
Oh, is that right? At this point, she says, I don't think she has any peristaltic action going on. But Bill, she's now 2 months pregnant with her first child, and she's miserable.
Right.
What can you recommend to help her go that is safe for the baby? And equally important, what can she do to rebuild the muscle so she can evacuate on her own?
Right. Well, the first thing is, number one, colon cleanse. 1 capsule in the morning, 1 at night. Mm-hmm. You can increase it from that if you need to. Mm-hmm. It'll move the dead. Okay, mm-hmm. Ours is the most powerful available on Earth. Secondly, you want to make sure you take soluble fiber. It's present in all our products, including Glycemix. It has the C-based soluble fiber, so I'd probably recommend Glycemix and Life Support. And that'll be a good drink to give her some extra fiber. I'd recommend that she also, it has the ageless, it'll heal her bowel wall because her bowel wall is damaged. She probably has food allergies that are causing abnormal peristalsis. I recommend allergy tests. The best is a blood test that can be done through lab testing direct, and we're going to have the lab testing direct people on the show talking about that. What you do is you go through Genova Labs, Metametrics, and they can draw blood and tell you exactly what food allergies she has, because if she has those foods, they'll cause abnormal peristalsis.
What can she do to get stronger there?
Stronger, first off, is take Living Probiotic twice a day, and Living Probiotic Ultra every second day, not every third or fourth, as the bottle says. And as we heal her bowel wall with the ageless, which is the immunoglobulins and ageless, and the Vegapro protein, etc., her bowel will start to heal. It probably has leakiness and abnormal peristaltic spasms.
Doesn't it get lazy if you're doing all those enemas?
Well, it's not necessarily lazy. It's what's called abnormal peristalsis. So it contracts, but it's not in a peristaltic wave. It's got what's called tonic spasms. So it continues to absorb water until the stool is skibbolous, or hard little balls, like cannonballs, and it'll block the bowel. And eventually she'll end up with a risk of diverticulosis, where weak points will end up with blood vessels forming little pockets, and then you end up with fecalus, which are undigestible fiber, anaerobic bacteria, and so on. And it's dangerous because they can get infected and rupture and cause peritonitis, that we call left-sided appendicitis. So that's what I do: colon cleanse, ageless, Life Support, Glycemix, Living Probiotic Ultra, and that should get her well on her way.
Next is Graham from Sierra Leone. I live in Sierra Leone, and I've been listening to your presentations for years. I especially am following what you have said about Ebola. I work in Cocoa, and it's the capital C, it must be a place. The Cocoa area is where the outbreak is. It is starting to gain speed here. Many cases are spreading due to the fact that it is embarrassing for them to come to the Ebola Center for treatment and pass it on. So locals insist it is not real, and goes on to say, the problem. I'm a big fan of silver, but what I am really interested in is an investigative type article on Ebola, and he wants to get if you would.
Well, I'll summarize. We talked about this with Ann Morrison the other day. We pulled up the latest literature. What happens? The United Nations and the World Health Organization came up with a statement this week that Ebola is now out of control. What happens is Ebola, I think they genetically tweaked it, because Ebola for decades has always had a very short half-life. It's been extremely lethal and very hard to spread because of that. It now has a long incubation period and can shed virus for quite a long time, over a period of weeks. So as a result, it's completely changed its genetics, which means it's been tweaked. The virus now is extremely lethal, but it doesn't kill people to the end after it's spread to a number of people. So, yes, it's spreading like wildfire across Africa, but we don't have any cases that have come to North America, but there apparently was a number of cases of Ebola that ended up in Italy that were evacuees or people trying to escape North Africa, and 14 of them ended up actually with Ebola arriving in Italy. And they died about a month ago, a number of them.
I'll give you his email. So you can
so the
give him
fact
all
is,
the
it's a
information.
problem.
He wants more information.
It's unlikely for it to arrive as a spreading plague like the MERS coronavirus, which is likely to exponentially increase in numbers in the next year or so, or the H7N9, which is the fastest replicating flu virus.
But what do you recommend for Ebola?
Ebola, I recommend Nutridyne 20 drops every 3 hours by mouth. And I would add to that Allicin and Silver 100, but I would use all three antipathogenics.
Remember in India how our Nutridyne?
Yeah, we use it. We have
malaria.
Just Nutridyne alone. We have people who have TB, pot spine, which is a tuberculosis of the spine. We stop that. We stop forms of cancer
so
with it.
Good for Ebola too.
Yeah, and cancer, by the way, in the Untouchables in India, we actually have sent humanitarian aid in. It actually helped the Untouchables, and it's had the ability to knock out TB and chikungunya, which is another virus, breakbone or dengue fever, and malaria and schizoid parasites of schistosomiasis. The schizoid parasites of malaria and the schistosoma hibitobium of schistosomiasis.
Well, here we go, Bill, with Thelma and Kim from Tennessee. Could be Tennessee or Ohio. This is Thelma's day. Anyways, Thelma, I see here you have a question for Dr. Deagle today, and that's about, it's not princess this time, it's your green iguana. Has a fungus growing on him, and the vet is no help. Do you have any medicine I can try for him? The fungus is yellow and then turns black, mostly on his head. He has lost his left eye, and it's all black.
I'd use Nutridyne topically, and orally I'd give him about 1/5 the dosage, because I was around 20 pounds. So 1/5 the dosage, which would be 4 to 5 drops of Nutridyne orally every 4 hours. And topically I'd be applying it on every 3 or 4 hours on the topical areas. And then I would apply to it as well Polyalamax cream and a Silver 100 spray, and that should knock it out very nicely. And by the way, no fungus can survive Nutridyne. It's amazing.
Next is Oliver from Georgia. My blood test showed a TSH of 3.24, which is in the normal range of 0.35 to 4.5. But my doctor wants to give me Synthroid to lower my TSH. That doesn't make sense to me. What do you think?
Change doctors, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, your doctor, if they don't measure free T4, free T3, and free reverse T3, fire your doctor, including your endocrinologist, because if they don't measure free reverse T3, their other tests, including TSH, are useless. Your core body temperature is a very accurate way of measuring brown fat metabolism, which is the best measure of T3 conversion from T4.
Okay, next is Tina, Bill, in an email, and I guess it's regarding
mesothelioma.
Yeah, when we come back, I'll read you this
that
email.
comes from asbestos fiber exposure. It's on the capsule of the lungs. It's the cause of mesothelioma. Back in a moment.
Yeah, I can't read that yet, can I? I'll have to wait.
We're doing good?
You do.
Is it possible to reverse GCN?
With the host with the most, and she's whistling. I don't know. We're whistling through the questions, Michelle? Or?
Well, it's probably not. This actually, now that I'm reading it, it's not anything to whistle to. This email goes from Tina. My husband was just diagnosed with mesothelioma. Is that correct?
Yeah, mesothelioma.
Yeah,
it's a pretty...
He has a right collapsed lung, several tumors, and Pleurax cath to drain fluid from his chest. They want him to start chemo in low doses next week, but we had to take him to the ER last night with 102 fever, and they said he is anemic and has an infection and is on antibiotics. He's lost 30 pounds within 2 weeks. Do you have any advice?
Well, in terms of first thing is... I don't recommend paint-by-numbers chemo. I recommend the Brzezinski Clinic with our complete list of nutraceuticals which work for all cancers. Malignant block, malignant arrest, ellagic acid, myco-D2, that's there, our oncomycin, high-dose power C, full vitamin K2, etc. All are antipathogenics because cancer is always tied to a pathogen and heavy metals and chemicals. In this case, it's asbestos fibers. And I recommend the only surgical procedure I think is useful is do a capsulectomy where you go in and have a thoracotomy, have the surgeons remove the capsule of the lungs, which stops the development of pleural effusions. And also they can do a capsulectomy. They can remove all the areas. It will actually allow the lung to re-expand as well. So that needs to be done as soon as possible. I don't like them to sit around until they end up with a serious pleural infection, because then they'll end up in the respiratory and cardiac ICU. I think what you should do is contact us immediately, get on Nutraceuticals, contact Greg Brzezinski, Dr. Greg Brzezinski, and Stanislaw at the Brzezinski Clinic. If necessary, get 2 or 3 consultations from a thoracic surgeon to do a capsulectomy on both lungs, not just the one infected or on that side. And I strongly don't recommend radiation therapy for any tumor of any type or paint-by-numbers chemo. They do anti-neoplastons. They do the gene test with a biopsy to determine which genes are switched to cause the cancer. And then you do low-dose treatment to get it into remission. And it may change, too, because within 3 or 6 months, if the gene switches change, you have to change the ratio or the kinds of medications you're using. Low dose, and some of their are anti-cancer drugs at low dose, and others are not. They're drugs that basically turn the switch. So the conventional treatment, no. Radiation, never. Hyperbaric oxygen, helpful. Surgery, yes, to capsulectomy. That's the general approach, and it's much more successful than just doing paint-by-numbers chemo. But surgery is required to get the capsule off the lungs.
And he's anemic now, so I guess that would be...
Yeah, they can do a transfusion there, but the best way to raise his hemoglobin is ferritin, superfolate, pyromethyl B12. Those 3.
Next is Mark in an email. Dr. Bill, peace and thanks for your work. I'm a volunteer monitor station on the radiationnetwork.com. Is yours up and running?
Yes, it is. Fully operational.
You're also a volunteer.
Yeah. In fact, if you actually look at the front page of the station, you can see there's it's called the typical wind trajectories. And if you go right here and hit this link.
And this is all at NutriMedical.com, NUTRIMEDICAL.
Yeah, and you'll see the Vista
right on the front page there, right, Bill?
Yeah, and you'll see the Vista California
cool.
site there.
That's cool.
And then you go down here and you hit the Vista site. That's actual data being generated, and that's the graph for the last 24 hours here with the actual radiation counts per minute. Between about 30 and 40 counts per minute.
What Mark was wanting to say is he gave us this website, www.e-sword.net, and you know what? It's the coolest Bible study thing. It's got all kinds of different, comparison, translations, different translations and everything, and I recommend that. I use the Bible Gateway.
It's called e-sword.net?
Yeah.
So it's basically
That's
a Bible translation site. That's a hyphen, right?
Yes, it's a hyphen.
E-sword, SWORD.net.
Yeah.
That's good. I want to make sure.
Next is Judy in an email. I was wondering if your shows are archived on your website. I can't always get on them live when I read what I miss, and I would like to hear them later. I guess.
We have a hyperlink directly from our site to the major archives at Genesis Network, which is the best way to get them. We could archive them on our site, but we prefer to...
There's a direct link right there, Bill.
Yeah,
Just scroll down.
If you go, it says there's a Listen Live button.
Right under Listen
Global
Live.
Star. This is on demand, which means it rotates. Every show is played 8 times a day. Then free podcasts. Nutrimedical show archives. So it shows a little, looks like an iPad or an iPod. Free Nutrimedical show MP3 archives. Hit that
most
button.
people can't listen live. Most everyone.
Yeah, if you hit that button, it'll show you the month, and then you open up the month, and all of the hours, 1, 2, 3 are there, and it's all free. And we also have a phone app. You can listen live.
That's right. We have a telephone number if you want to hear the station and you don't have internet and you just want to get on your phone. It's toll free.
Yeah.
And that telephone number is, Bill, 605. It's right there. 562-7705.
Yeah.
Okay, next is Peggy. Dear Dr. Deagle, I was introduced to you by Jeff Rentz's radio show, and I thoroughly enjoy trying to keep up while the contents of your brain spill out almost faster than I can comprehend. Love it, she says. I'm not sure... Spill out, I like that. I'm not sure if my problem is solvable through supplements, but since there seems to be no cure, but grin and bear it or surgery, I thought I'd ask. I've developed a urethral... What's that, caruncle?
Caruncle.
It presented a few years ago around age 56. A couple of years later, I had a hysterectomy, and the caruncle has gotten larger since. Estrogen cream sometimes makes caruncles disappear or recede, but the cream did nothing for me, even when it was small. I'm looking to find out why it happened in order to be able to stop it at this level, or if possible, make it better.
Okay, well, one of the more common things that people don't understand is that there are a number of infections that can embed in the bladder wall or in the urethra, such as ureaplasma ureolyticum. And what I usually tell people to do is start taking our antipathogenics, which will penetrate through the biofilm, and see if it'll go away. Secondly, add anti-inflammatories like curcumin cream, which are good for solid organs like bladder wall, etc. You take the cell defense tablets twice a day. And then I'd recommend for the bladder, we have a product called Bladder Up, which is a special product. It's an extract of pumpkin seeds. It's very good for healing the bladder wall. And to stop bladder spasms, which is the Trigone, we have Swedish flower pollen. So I'd try those first and see if it'll resolve. What I think there's most commonly is there's low-grade pathogenic infection causing the caruncle to be inflamed and stay enlarging. And that's the best approach I would take right now. I would probably repeat a cystoscopy and with the urologist to make certain there was no precancerous other changes. But I would be very suspicious, because it's very hard to culture them, that she has not got a low-grade infection there in the bladder wall urethra.
Oh, interesting. Next is Scott from Utah. Dr. Bill, there are people that live a little north of you in Santa Barbara and they need your help. He goes on to talk about this gentleman, Kerry, and his wife, and I won't say her name,
right.
But his wife has cancer, but he doesn't say what kind of cancer, so I think you're going to have to email him to find out. And we just went over the cancer protocol.
Yeah, and of course how we what we do is we network. We provide nutraceutical support, what we recommend to cancer clinics that are helpful. And things like hyperthermia is used in Europe. Dr. Centilio Simoncini has clinics in Italy that use basically alkalinization. They put an arterial catheter in to actually infuse it. It's very successful. There's lots of different approaches that are very helpful to fight cancer. Cancer is a gene switch problem. It's not an immune problem primarily. It's a gene switch problem. It's a lack of crosstalk between mitochondria, which is because the cell's gone anaerobic. So all cancers are anaerobic cells. The cells have gone into anaerobic metabolism, and that's where we try to approach it from anaerobic metabolism with things like malignant block, malignant arrest, and these other things like myco-D2 ergothioneine, which helps to stimulate repair of the DNA or the cell to go through apoptosis.
Next is William in an email. Bill, what are your cure protocols for arthritis? I am having my friend look at your website.
The first is for osteoarthritis and for inflammatory arthritis. The first one I recommend is leptin metabolic. Second is Inflamex. Third, Tendon Mender, Collagen Max, and Joint Performance, and Mountain Red Velvet. I usually topically will apply lumen photon therapy, setting 7 for turning off pain, and Nico for regeneration. And for stimulating stem cells, Soma Pulse, setting number 3. And you can wear it for a long period of time with a little knee brace.
Next is Monica from Montana, and she says, about a year ago we talked on the phone for a consult. She goes on to say how kind you were, and you and I are true brother and sister in Jesus, in Christ. Anyways, she needs prayer. If you're also, this is someone else that needs prayer. She's gone through a divorce and a lot of other things, Bill, and I'll pass this over to you. Since we're at the end of the hour here. Monica, I'll give your email to Dr. B, Dr. D, Daddy B, whatever.
Yes, and let's hope God will give me the answers to make you happy and make you well and make you smile. As I say, the only side effects of NutriMeds and what we try to do is our side effects is a smile.
Well, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Friday's here. Enjoy your weekend. I know.
And the announcements about the big sale coming up.
And the big sale, don't forget, is coming up on July the 4th, right through to Monday midnight. And we'll be with you on Thursday, July the 3rd.
And by the way, you can pre-sale. If you want to do that sale on that date, you can call in advance.
You can pre-sale, and we package it up before we run out. God bless you.
5 or visit alkavision.com. That's ALKA vision.com. Alkalize your body and supercharge your health at the new alkavision.com.